Hello and welcome to another installment of Blackboard Chalk Talks. In this segment we're going to be looking at the Respondus lockdown browser. So we're just looking at a basic introduction and familiarization for you. I want you to be able to describe the purpose and function of the browser itself and the procedures for setting up the lockdown browser for an assessment in your Blackboard course. I have a short video I want to just show you. This is more from the student's perspective, but I think it'll help you to understand the browser a little bit better as well.
If you're watching this, you're probably required to use Respondus Lockdown Browser for an online exam. Lockdown Browser is a different kind of browser. While taking an exam, you can't print, use other applications, visit other websites, you can't even search the internet for answers. I know, it takes all the fun out of online tests. But here's the good thing. Your classmates can't do those things either, so it's just your brain against their brain. A level playing field. When you start it, Lockdown Browser might warn you that certain applications have to be shut down before you continue, like screen capture programs, instant messaging, Skype, pretty much anything that lets you communicate with the outside world. You can close those applications yourself or let Lockdown Browser do it for you. The browser will then go to the login page for your online course. Log in like you normally do and locate the exam that requires Lockdown Browser. Remember, after the exam starts, you won't be able to do other things on your computer until you finish the exam. When you're done, just exit Lockdown Browser and you'll be all set.
And so you get the idea there. The lockdown browser is going to close out everything on their screen and prevent them from being able to print, copy, paste, minimize the screen, surf the web, all those kind of things. All they're going to be able to see is the test in front of them because their computer screen is locked out from everything else. It does hide or close other applications, but as it said there, you want to tell them to close everything out before you access the test. Now when we go to set up the browser, it's very simple. You go to the course management panel on the bottom left of your course, go to your control panel, course tools, and then all the way down at the bottom you'll see Respondus Lockdown Browser. Go ahead and click into that. You'll see an opening screen to that. Just go ahead and click through that. What will be brought up next is all of the tests that you have currently deployed within your Blackboard course. And so as you look at the course at the bottom here, you'll see the word required. That means that the lockdown browser has already been set up for this course. If it says not required, then it has not been set up. And so you go ahead and click into that, and it'll take you into the next screen, which will give you a couple of different options. First of all, obviously to require that the lockdown browser is applied to this exam. You can insert a password and require the students to enter a password before they go into the test. But obviously the biggest thing is that we lock the students into the browser until the exam is completed. Now there are some additional options that you can have here. You can enable a calculator on the toolbar to allow them to use a calculator. If you need them to print something out, you can. If you want them to go to a specific website, you can allow that, and there's some explanations over here for that as well. But those are the basics. Now I want to go back just briefly and look at this warning at the bottom. To preserve the settings used by Lockdown Browser, do not modify these settings in the test options. There are some basic changes that you can make in your test that will break the link between this lockdown browser and your course, and when you try to use it, it'll just give you an error message. You're going to have to redeploy your test at that point, or the lockdown browser just won't work. And then finally, we have some best practices for you. You want to try to use the Ethernet wired internet connection whenever you're doing this, just to make sure you don't lose connection. But of course, that's not always possible. Also, have your students close all open programs or applications first, and then log into Blackboard, and then go ahead and access and administer your test as you normally would. Pretty easy process to set up. Thank you for listening. Have a great tour at USAFA, and please reach out if you have any problems.